Welcome to the Strategy and Research webinar. We are pleased to have you join us for today's session, which will focus on maximising the effectiveness of your Qualtrics toolkit. This webinar is ideal for professionals engaged in research programs and are looking to enhance their capabilities and outcomes. Today, we are very lucky to be joined by research and strategy experts Andrew Mariska, lead of Asia Pacific Japan Strategic Market Research, and Frank Van Praag, solutions engineer, who will be leading this session. They will guide you through leveraging Qualtrics audience management to build, engage, and manage research panels, capturing and analysing qualitative data using tools like Qualtrics video feedback, identifying statistically relevant relationships and building predictive models using StatsIQ, and managing all your research in one centralized place using Qualtrics Research Hub. This session is focused on optimizing your use of Qualtrics. However, some products covered today may not be available to you on your license. If it's the case and you'd like to find out more, please do reach out to your Qualtrics account director. If you have any additional questions or queries, please do not hesitate to reach out to your account team through the Customer Success Hub. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you find today's session very valuable.
Great to see you all here today. My name is Andrew. I'm a member of the research and strategy team here at Qualtrics, and along with my colleague Frank, we're going to be delivering today's product demonstration. So before we jump into the platform, obviously we've got the agenda up on the screen here, and I'm sure as insights professionals, you're seeing the ways that technology is changing your roles and the way in which you're going about conducting research. And if you look through some of these quotes that are about to come on screen now from some of the leaders of the world's biggest brands, there's a clear need for organizations to have agile, cost-effective tools for research, and a growing need for those tools to leverage AI for even greater efficiencies. And so, through our demonstration today, we'll hopefully bring some of these capabilities to life and give you some ideas for how you can incorporate them into your roles. Now, it's not really difficult to understand why there's a need for this. Simply put, research informs better business decisions. And so it's not difficult to find proof points on this. And when we share these slides, we'll link these articles where these stats are quoted in case they're helpful to help really, bring to life the value that research can have throughout your organization. Okay, so for the focus of today's session, we're going to center the demonstration around a fictitious footwear retailer that we're going to call Tread Shoes. And so we're going to introduce you to Jane now. Jane is the insights leader for Tread Shoes. She's been in the role for a few years, but she's got a few challenges that she's trying to deal with currently in her role, which is making her a little bit unhappy. Her research budgets have been slashed, but there's a need for quality, actionable research, and the priorities for that are higher than ever. She needs to continue to support new product development and the broader customer and market research needs of the business. And simply put, she needs a way to do more with less. Okay. So Jane has an idea. She determines that time and costs can be saved by creating a customer research panel. This will reduce the reliance that she has on external sample and help to improve response rates when contacting customers to provide feedback on new products and ideas. And so what we're going to take you through in today's demonstration is how her research, product, and brand teams can obtain fast, actionable, and quality insights that help to fuel innovation and uncover new market opportunities, and at a fraction of the time and cost of more traditional approaches, and obviously using the Qualtrics platform. So let's dive into the platform and get into it. Now, for those of you that are familiar with customer panels or communities, something like what you see on screen here may look familiar. A portal where a participant that's part of a community can log in, see the studies that are available to them, and if they choose to take part in them, they can jump in. There's links to incentives and how long activities will take, and they can see things that they've done in the past. And so what we're going to do is step you through the process of how you might go from setting something up to the point where you can then deploy these types of studies to your panel members. Okay. So I'm jumped into the platform now. So Jane's gone in and she's decided that she wants to set up her customer panel. And to do that, she's going to use a pre-built solution that we've got within Qualtrics, which is called our audience management guided solution. And this is a pre-built solution that makes it easy to build, engage, and manage a research panel for quick and agile research. And so we're going to step through the process of getting this set up. So that you can see how easy it is to use with the Qualtrics panel. We're going to give our panel a name. And through this guided solution, you will see that we're being prompted to, with inputs that are going to help us set up our research panel. And so these automated solutions, I'm going to show you a bunch of them today as we go through the demonstration. They're designed to help streamline the setup, ongoing management and reporting of programs like a research customer panel, but also of individual projects as well. So you have the ability to set a panel up from scratch, or you can use an existing list as the basis of your community or your customer panel. So we'll start going through that process. And you can see here that as we go through the setup wizard, we're then being asked to input different types of text and information that's going to be used to inform the members about what being part of the research panel is all about, to obtain their consent and profiling information and things like that. So we're just going to input the text that we need here. You can see that as we go through this setup wizard, it's giving you some examples of what you might want to input. Obviously, you've got the ability to customize all of this. There's also, on the right-hand side here, different links to support articles to help you understand what's required at all the different stages. Here, I can select different demographics questions that I'd like to include in the recruitment survey for new participants. So I can click through these ones here, and obviously I then at a later point in time have the ability to modify to them or add to them if I want to change my mind. Okay. As I walk through the setup wizard, and I go through here, now I've been asked to update my profile update survey. So again, I can select what questions I want to ask my panel members to update. If at a later point in time, I'm going to ask them to confirm that their profile information is still correct. And where we can save a lot of time is by checking this box, which is going to allow us to set a time interval by which we automatically want to go out to the members on our customer panel and check to see if the profile information that we have on them is up to date. Okay, and so that really takes a lot of the hassle away from having to do this manually or remembering to do it. So this is just one of many features within this solution that makes the management of the panel ongoing a little bit easier than it otherwise would have been. Okay. So once we go through this process, we then have a number of outputs that have been created for us that will load on screen in a minute. So once this setup wizard is run, we will have our recruitment survey that we can then go and deploy to recruit new members into our research panel. So we could do a standalone distribution to recruit members into our research panel. We could use our web intercept capabilities to trigger alerts and invitations when customers are on our digital assets, be it our websites or our app, and recruit them through there. Or we could also link a link to this recruitment survey off the back of an existing survey. So it could be a touchpoint survey related to a CX program or something else. There's lots of different ways in which you can leverage our different distribution methods to bring people in. Okay. We've also got our automated update your details survey that will be deployed every 6 months or at whatever interval I've asked it to be deployed at, so that our panel member information will be up to date. And you'll see here that it's also created a panel health dashboard that's going to help us get a better understanding of the composition of the community or the research panel and other information that we want to use to kind of monitor the health of the panel. And so you can see here, I'm just pulling up one example of things that you're able to do with that panel health dashboard. So as well as giving you the ability to run filters and have other capabilities that you expect to see on a regular Qualtrics dashboard, to be able to look at the demographic makeup or the geographic makeup of the people on the panel, you're also able to start to pull in stats that will allow you to see, what's our open rates on emails, and be able to cut things down at a project level. So you can get really granular on the information to ensure that when surveys and activities are going out to members of the panel, that how people are responding, if it's if there's any particular issues with projects causing things like churn and things like that, and all of this will flow into these dashboards in real time. Okay. So so we've now got our panel set up, and we want to look at starting to run a research project with our panel. And so from here, I can go in and I can select that I want to create a new project. And so as many of you would know, that when it comes to working with Qualtrics, you obviously have the ability to set up projects from scratch and build bespoke questions. But I want to just call out a few of these other automated solutions that exist within the platform that can help to speed up the setup, the launch, and the analysis of different types of Qual, Quant, and UX research. And so if I look through this catalog here, I can see that I've got different templated solutions that are going to support different stages of product research. You can see here that I've got a solution for idea screening. So if I'm doing some early stage concept validation, I can use this to fast track the setup of the survey and the reporting of it. If I've got sort of later stage concept validation work that I want to be able to do, there's a separate solution here that allows me to run a monadic forgotten the terminology, whether I want to test one or more concepts here. I can use that solution to set that up. And I've also got the ability to run more complex forms of quantitative methodologies as well. So I can run a max diff project if I'm looking to understand preference among a large list of items, or I can also run conjoint analysis if I'm wanting to understand optimum bundles for different products that I'm looking to launch or run a competitive comparison against. And in the case of these more complex project types, not only do you get guided setups and pre-built surveys, but you also have pre-built simulators, which means that you can launch a very complex methodology project within a matter of hours and have the results coming into the pre-templated report almost instantly as soon as you start getting feedback. So that can be really powerful. There's also other capabilities in here beyond just quantitative analysis. So Qualtrics has been rolling out a lot of new solutions related to qualitative feedback and UX research. And so you can see here that I've got the ability to run a unmoderated user test if I want to have a customer interact with a prototype or a live website, or obtain feedback on the user experience of something that I'm looking to test, and I can use this. I can also run tree testing studies if I'm looking to improve my website navigation. Open and closed card sort solutions also exist, as do the ability to collect more straight qualitative feedback. And so, in the case of the project that Jane is looking to run, she's looking to obtain product feedback on a new product that's launched and is performing a little more poorly than has been anticipated. And she thinks that a good way to do that would be to push a survey out to customers and ask them what they think, and give them the option to provide their feedback on this product via video. So let's set something like this up, go through the wizard, and then show you what the outputs would look like. So we'll call this one video feedback. Okay. Again, you're provided with prompts where you can input relevant information into your survey. If I want to add additional demographics to my survey, I can. In this case, I'm not going to, because these are members of our research panel. I've already got that information. I can pull that in into the survey without having to ask it later, or using embedded variables. I can have it import automatically when the respondent enters the survey. Okay, and now here we can see that I've got my video feedback survey. I've got an introduction. I'm providing my consent, some instructions on what will create a great video, and then the video question, which I'll show you what that looks like in a preview in a moment. I might also want to add some quantitative questions in here. So we might put an NPS question in. Okay. And we can now preview our survey. So just to give you an idea of what capturing qualitative feedback is like from a respondent's point of view, I'll just quickly run through this. You can see that the survey's been optimized for not only desktop but mobile as well. I've got my instructions on how to provide my video, and then if I'm ready to go, I can click on the button, record my response, and that will start being captured. It's happening all natively throughout. Once I'm done, I can click stop. I can play it back and review it. I can delete it and go again if I want, but if I'm happy, I can continue and complete the survey. Okay. Cool. So we've gone through that. We've gone through that setup phase. I might be ready now to, publish my survey and start collecting responses. Something else that I'll call out here in terms of customization options of these questions is that you have the ability to give participants the option to record their video or just their audio. So you can still use some of the analytics capabilities that I'll show you in a minute on audio only feedback. So if you've got customers that might not want to show their face but still want to tell you what they think, then there's some capabilities within the platform to be able to allow that to happen. Okay. Okay, so we'll just publish this one. Great. So I've now got my survey and it's ready to go. There's a few different ways in which I can determine who it is that I want to see this survey and who I want to invite. From within my audience management project, one of the options that I've got is that I can go through my participant list. I can set different filters in here to create a sample, and then I can draw that sample into the survey. So that's one way. I can also go into my directory. I can create a list from there and I can load them into my survey, or I can choose to deploy the survey to everyone in my panel as well. Okay. But what I'm going to show you now is how we would go about adding this survey to that participant portal that I showed at the start of the demonstration. So within that audience management solution, I've got the ability to change the design and customization of what my participant portal looks like. I can give it a name. I can give people a welcome or a hello. I can, type something in like this. I can include links to privacy notices and other important references that I might want to show within my participant portal. And once I'm happy with how that looks, I can then go about adding in these new projects to people in the panel. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay. I can make this available to all panelists. If I've got a specific audience available to select, then I can drop them in here. I can then add an image that will be shown on the page. And if I'm rewarding participation with some form of compensation, it could be a point system that I'm using. It could be a certain incentive that's a value of dollars. Then I've got the ability to specify that here. And then there's the ability within the Qualtrics platform to have a point system where people accrue points for taking part in surveys, or directly link to things like rewards and gift cards, so that if you want to be able to fully automate this process of rewarding participation within the platform, then you would have the ability to do that as well. Okay. As I'm adding this survey to my participant portal, I've also got the ability to notify members that it's been available to them. I can do email and or SMS notifications. And then, once I'm happy with everything, I've got the ability to add it to the app. And then if I jump back in here, we'll see once I log back in that survey will be available for me. The other thing that I would mention as well is that this participant portal that we're showing as part of the audience management solution, it is completely optional as to whether you would turn that on or off as part of setting this up. So if you just wanted to contact your panel members via email or just via SMS or vice versa without having this portal available, then you can do that as well. You can customize that. Okay. So we've launched our survey. We've started collecting data. Now let's go have a look around how we would start to analyze that data. And so I'll just jump into our survey here that we've built. Let's imagine that we've had responses coming in and we want to start looking at what people are saying. So the first thing that I'm going to do is look at my quantitative data that I've collected through my videos. So you can see here I've gone to the data and analysis tab within the platform, and I'm clicking on my audio and video tab. And what I can see here is links to all of the videos that have been collected. If I click on one video, you'll see that I've been given a transcription of what's been said. I can play the video back and watch it. Within the transcription, we've already tagged the sentiment of what's been said by the participants. So you can see here the red lines here indicate negative sentiment. The grey lines here are kind of mixed or neutral sentiment. And if there was positive things being said, it would be highlighted green. I can choose to show that or remove it. I can then tag it against different topics. But the other analysis capability that we have here, which is really, really powerful, is the ability to leverage AI-generated summaries of my data set. So if I click on this summary button here, you can see that Qualtrics has provided an AI-generated summary at an aggregate level across all of these videos that I've collected. And what it's provided me with is an overall summary of that qualitative data. But also it's picked out the top themes that people are talking about, okay, when we've asked them this question. And so I'm really interested in durability because there's been some concerns about durability of my product. And you can see here that when I click on that theme, it's giving me some information specifically about the customers that are stating durability issues. And if I sort of click on this link here, it'll jump me to the response as an example where someone is talking about durability, okay? So here we've got some analysis capabilities that will save a significant amount of time of compared to having to, trawl through individual recordings of these different videos. Now, once I've got this information, I can then cut different parts of each reel and create a show reel. And then this will give us the ability to have multiple videos shown within one reel. And then once I've created a show reel that I'm happy with, I can either download that, I can embed it within a dashboard and show it alongside, other data within my survey or other data sets as a really great way to kind of bring those insights to life. Okay. So I might have gone ahead and have done this, but now I really want to dig a little deeper into the data, and I want to start to validate some of the qualitative feedback that I've observed with some quantitative data to work out, okay, people are talking a lot about durability, but how big a problem is it? Is it something that it's worth us, investing more resources in to resolve? Is it going to lead to better outcomes for our business? And so as we jump into that quantitative data analysis, I'm going to hand over to Frank now, who's going to jump into Stats IQ and show us a little bit about what we can do in that part of the platform.
All right. Well, now that you've done your general research and you know the kinds of things that people like about your products, you might actually go ahead and do a deeper study where you might ask people, how do you like the fit of your shoes? What do you think of the price? What is the comfort? And when you do that in the Qualtrics platform, of course, you'll end up in the Data and Analysis tab on the Data tab, where you've got all the information. All the rows represent every response that's come in. Yes, of course, you can export that data, but there are security questions about whether you want to duplicate all of that data, put it on an external system. You can actually do the full analysis all within the Qualtrics platform. And this is what I'm about to show you is I want to not just look at the data, I want to do some statistical analysis on it. So if I go to the Stats IQ tab, I can get a very quick overview of what people said about durability and fit, what questions we asked and what responses we received. By just highlighting them in blue and then describing them, the platform tells us with a little graph like this that in terms of durability, people were generally, it was very unsatisfactory, and some people responded satisfactory. We've got 178 responses. So it gives you a statistical summary of the 178 responses we've received, and it even does some calculations. These calculations here are not quite appropriate because I've also calculated a numeric, which I'm not going to go into. It also tells us about fit. So here you can see that people said it was a poor fit. The majority of people said it was a poor fit. Now, doing that for just a couple of variables doesn't save you a great deal of time. But if you do it for all your variables, there are 152 questions and calculations that have been done, including those. The video transcript has been analyzed. What topics were they talking about? What was their what was the emotion that was shown in the video? Was there frustration? Was there joy? And all of that. If you want to describe all of them, it's again just one click and it describes all the data. It recognizes the data types. Like, for example, this one was a date, the date the survey was taken. So you get a feel of when people actually came in and finished that survey. There was a bit of a bump here in April with people responding. And yeah, it just goes through and describes all of your data points, including this one here, which is the NPS, a score from 0 to 10. Now, knowing what your data looks like is one thing. The next thing that you want to do is find any relationships to things that really matter. And to do the relationships, you'll notice that there is a key symbol that you can place next to one of your questions or variables. And the key I want to put next to the NPS score. This is the numeric NPS score. I could also have put it against the NPS group. The NPS group, of course, is detractor or promoter or neutral. But I'm going to put it against this numeric field and ask Qualtrics. I've highlighted all of my variables and put a key against one of it, and I'll ask Qualtrics now to, in one go, find the relationships between that keyed variable and those 187 other variables that it's looking at. It will then provide a result which is stack ranked by significance. So the most important relationships, the most significant relationships will end up at the top. And this is the first card that's come up. And it says there's a relationship between the NPS numeric and the NPS group. Well, this is quite obvious. It's an obvious relationship. It translates that into a statistically driven English sentence, which says there is a strong statistically significant relationship between the NPS group and the NPS number. Here are the groups: detractor, passive, and promoters. And you can see that all the promoters rated a 9 or a 10. Well, this is such an obvious one that it's actually not worth even looking at, but I'm glad that it's identified it, and I'll just dismiss that card. The next relationship it's found is far more interesting. There is a strong statistically significant relationship between the NPS score and the price. And you can see that here. If the price is as advertised, there were 5 responses and they gave a really high NPS score. Whereas if they said price was not important, the NPS scores varied quite a bit and there were some zeros in there. So that's an interesting finding. What else? What other variables are related to the NPS score? Here I've got another one. This one says that it's related to durability. There is a strong statistically significant relationship with durability. Same thing, whether they're satisfied or unsatisfied. If they're very satisfied with durability, the NPS score is quite high. Now, if there are some statisticians in the group, I want to show you the statistical results that have actually been run here. First of all, the test that was run is an analysis of variance, an ANOVA, and a p-value was calculated. The p-value was so small, and that suggests to us that it is a strong statistically significant relationship. This word here will change to a weak statistical significant relationship or an inverse relationship. It'll actually interpret the results. It'll also change the test so that if you're doing numeric to numeric, it might do a chi-squared analysis. All right, so we've got durability, price. What else is strongly related? The date is also related, but I'm not interested in trends at the moment, trends over time, so I'll ignore that. Comfort is related and fit is related. And then it goes on to, there's a relationship between unanswered questions. So with that, I now want to know what the relationships are between durability, fit, price, and comfort and the NPS score, but I want to do a regression because these variables interfere with each other, and I want to do a multivariate regression to tease apart the independent relationship that these 4 variables have against the NPS. And you again do that by putting a key against the item of interest, in this case, the NPS numeric score, and then highlighting any of the other variables you're interested in. There's a limit of 14 variables that you can do a regression on, because the regression gets too complex if you have more than 14 variables. Now that I'm doing the regression, it creates a card, which will take about 10 seconds to create, and it'll show us the independent relationship that these variables have in a graph. And it tells us that durability has the biggest impact. It accounts for 58% of what the model tells us about the NPS. So we can pretty much predict the NPS 58% of the time by just knowing the durability. In fact, if they've rated durability as very satisfactory, it is going to increase the NPS by 1.9 points. And if it was just satisfactory, it will increase the NPS on average by 1.7 points. So these are the results of the regression. If I want to look at price, it only has a minor effect on the NPS, and fit and comfort also have minor effects there. So this is a great way to get a really clear aha moment out of your data. So I've shown you describing some data, finding the relationships, and then doing regressions to tease apart those relationships. There's actually quite a bit more in the platform. You can run R code if you're inclined to use the R programming language, you can run that all completely within Qualtrics. You can do cluster analysis in Qualtrics to find perhaps clusters of attributes that tend to cluster together. So it will find, for example, that if the fit is really good and comfort is really good, people will tend to cluster those together and say fit was good, comfort was good, fit was bad, comfort was bad. It'll analyze that with a cluster analysis. And then finally, you can do your pivot tables in this platform as well. So that's what I wanted to share with you at this point.
Thanks, Frank. Okay, so just to recap, so far we've gone through the process of setting up our customer panel, capturing a combination of quantitative and qualitative data through different research projects. I also touched on some of those UX research tools that are available within the platform. And we've also, gone into some detail there with Frank around how we can analyze that quantitative data with StatsIQ. A couple other things that we wanted to highlight today, in the case of this project that Jane has now run, obviously she's used her qualitative and quantitative data to make some informed decisions that might have led to some new ideation, concept development. And at some point in time, maybe it's meant that there's been some more in-depth qualitative research that has taken place, could be in-depth interviews or focus groups. Just wanted to call out that some of that analytics capability that we showed with the video feedback solution, you also have the ability to run the transcription, automation of summaries and highlight reels with in-depth interviews and focus groups as well. So you can see on screen here that I've got the ability to import audio or video files. And so if I've got a recording of a focus group, for example, I can upload that into Qualtrics. It'll detect different speakers and it will give me the transcription of that in-depth interview or focus group. And something that's quite exciting that's coming out later this year is the ability to schedule and record in-depth interviews and focus groups natively within the platform as well. So in the future, with my customer panel, if I wanted to do a number of in-depths with my panel members, I could deploy a recruitment survey where they can select, from a set of available time slots when they'd like the interview to take place. I can then record that one-to-one interview natively within the platform. And leverage the transcriptions and analytics within the platform to be able to do that. Okay. I can see a couple of questions coming here. Can you manage multiple panels? Yes, you can. There's many ways that you can do that. You can have everything sitting within one panel with a flag in the directory that will then show different skins of survey invites and things like that. You can also have multiple. Have them sitting on completely separate directories. And does imported audio and video analysis count towards interactions? Yes, it does. Rule of thumb is one minute of Qual equals one interaction. So if you had if it was a 30-minute in-depth interview, it would use 30 interactions. So the final element of the platform that we wanted to highlight today is something that's available to early access customers at the moment, will be generally available on customers with the appropriate license later this year, and that is called Research Hub. And so I'll just jump back and go into here. So let's say that we've got a research need where we want to look at the drivers of choice for footwear in general. And so prior to embarking on a new research project, I might want to go into Research Hub and ask a question of, have we ever done research on drivers of choice for footwear? And what this is doing is it's using semantic search to query all of the data that's on my Qualtrics license for my organization. So that's going to be a combination of data that exists on projects that I've created, data that exists on projects that my colleagues have created, but also files that I've uploaded into Qualtrics. And so that could be uploaded audio and video files. It could be uploaded PDF files, which you'll have the ability to upload into the platform, and over time will be allowing you to ingest other types of data file formats into the platform. So you can see here that I've asked the question and it's brought up some different results. So there's some testimonials here. There's some PDF files that might be of interest. And actually with PDF files, if I click on this little show summary button, it'll provide a AI generated summary of that PDF file. Okay. Now, if it's something that I think is going to be useful for me, I can add this to a collection. You know, as I'm going through, and then, you know, once I've got that collection, I can then collaborate and share that collection with my colleagues. The other really useful thing here is that I'm searching across my whole organization, but there's obviously some projects or dashboards that I don't have access to. And you can see here that this search results has brought up something that looks really relevant to me. It's called drivers. My colleague David created it, but I don't have access. So I can click this button and it will request access so that I can view that dashboard. And I might find that there's some really relevant information within that dashboard that will either complement the work that I'm looking to do or potentially replace the requirement to do a primary piece of research. And so this will be a really useful tool for helping to improve institutional knowledge, you know, over time for all of that historical data that you're choosing to either store, collect, or upload.
Thank you once again for joining our Strategy and Research Enablement session. For further resources to support your ongoing learning, please do refer back to the original webinar invitation email, where you will find links to additional learning materials. We also really value your feedback. To share your thoughts on the session, please scan the QR code, which will be on your screen at the end of the session, or you can follow the survey link provided in the webinar invitation email. Should you have any questions regarding today's session, please do not hesitate to reach out to your account team through the Customer Success Hub. Thank you once again for attending, and we look forward to seeing you at our future webinars. Thank you.